Hello, so I wanted to go over the new J.K. Rowling book that just dropped. We got some screenshots of some of the pages, and we're going to see those. But basically, J.K. Rowling's new book in a nutshell. Just reading a lot of mean tweets about her. So this is what happens when a person is brain poisoned by Twitter, by using Twitter a little bit too much. It might seem a little long at 1,200 pages, but a good portion of the space is taken up by fictitious mean tweets. Yeah, so not only does it contain made up tweets, made up mean tweets, it's presented in this weird way where it's like the tweet itself takes up a line. It's not like, oh, this person tweeted this person, and this account tweeted that. No, it's formatted like a tweet, and it takes up an entire line, and it has like a line here separating it from. I'm not a writer, but I don't know about this. I don't know like why it is formatted this way. It seems odd. Why can't they just say Julius replying to Inkblack fan tweeted shallow bitch. Then he tweeted, if you got raped every time you said something dumb, you'd be permanently full of cop. What? That's terrible. I mean, it does sound like something someone would say on Twitter, but yeah. Sample page from the novel. Although Morehouse's Anomi's co-creator of the game has denied it, there's a persistent rumor in the Ink Black Heart fandom that he writes the Pen of Justice blog. The three first surfaced in January 2013. Strike flipped over the page and saw a line of printout tweets. What are these tweets? These aren't even mean. Like, I know why you wrote this. I know you wrote this. Nope, Heisenberg. You're wrong about me being the Pen of Justice as you are about the uncertain... Okay. Yeah, I don't know about this. Why would someone want to read a book like that's like half like tweets? These aren't even like funny or even mean. They're just like tweets. I don't know. I don't know. This is really like, so J.K. Rowling like lives on Twitter, right? She name searches herself and whatever she's into at that moment. She searches like for trans people to call out, but mostly she searches her own name to see what people are tweeting about her and then replies to them. That's what happened with Vosh. Vosh did not even tweet at J.K. Rowling. He mentioned her in the tweet, and she replied and caused this huge drama. So yeah, she is always on Twitter. So when her brain has been like poisoned by like all this Twitter going on, right? And then so now her brain like perceives reality as Twitter or something like that. Maybe not that, but like now she thinks in terms of Twitter. That's it. Since like she spends like hours a day just scrolling Twitter, now her brain has been programmed to like think in Twitter speak. Her brain is now formatted in Twitter. Yeah, this is what happens when a novelist spends too much time on social media. Oh my gosh, it's just like more tweets. Okay, this so it's not all tweets. It's like at least half like regular books. Her vile cartoon promotes the idea that disabled people are other. Okay, so this also gets into ableism. And she still hasn't sat down with any disability group to discuss her fans' valid concerns. What's your disability? Being a land whale? Yeah, I don't want to read all of this, but Tweets, tweets, even more pages that are just tweets. Oh my gosh, more tweets, more tweets. I'm weary of taking screenshots, but rest assured that plenty more pages of this book are taken up almost by entirely of tweets. Wrote about Rowling's sad descent back in 2020. Oh no, this was a COVID thing, wasn't it? She was stuck in her house with nothing to do. She was stuck in her giant mansion. I'm sorry, not a house. Her giant castle in Scotland. And, I guess she has no friends, like, to talk to, like, real people, IRL, to talk to. So she's, like, scrolling Twitter all the time. Man, that's a sad image, just like this old woman in her just sitting in her house, just scrolling Twitter all day. Hey, at least I was doing some stuff that was, like, a little more productive than that. Well, of course she was writing books, but, like, these are the books that she was writing. Like, she was scrolling Twitter so much that she that she permanently just nerfed her writing abilities. The limits of imagination. Yeah, her imagination was severely limited. I conclude that Rowling's book shows why even successful writers need someone who can tell them no, and let them know when they have produced what they have produced is unpublishable, unhinged dreck. The Ink Black Heart. This is this book, right? Yeah, Ink Black Heart was in here. Yeah, is this supposed to be enjoyable? Who's the audience? Other people who are poisoned by Twitter? Twitter brains? Yeah, that's it, Twitter brain. A Tumblr nerd drawing anime fan art and talk about social issues. It's amazing how she's describing her young fans at the height of Pottermania, and this kid is apparently the bad guy. Yeah, I mean, Harry Potter fans, like, were really big back on Tumblr when Tumblr was still like a big thing, right? Wait, so who's the bad guy here? So apparently, okay, we're going to find out. Should we read more of these tweets? These fake tweets? Oh my gosh. Ableism. The Ink Black Heart is ableist, heightened suicidal ideation for the disabled. Laughing about depression isn't cool. I agree. But Eddie has talked about being suicidal in the past. If she killed herself now, it'll make a ton of disabled people feel a hell of a lot better. What? Okay. It's okay to be sad when bad people die. It's okay to be glad when terrible people die. I'm not going to pretend I'm sorry. She literally ruined my life. I'm so over guilt or whatever. She got Josh stabbed. Yeah, I don't know about this dialogue. This is like... Is this? Wait, okay. So, part of this, like... Some of these lines are just, this tweet has been deleted. This tweet has been, and it's taking up an entire line of pages. Delete that. This tweet has been deleted. Oh my gosh, why am I getting so many notifications? Stop it. Okay, so... Yeah, again, this formatting is just a huge waste of space. She's like... J.K. Rowling is gonna kill an entire rainforest with all the books that, like... that she's gonna make, like 1,200 page books. Just like, hopefully this is not going to sell that many copies, because like, why would anyone read this? Not even tweets, made up tweets. This tweet is just emojis. Cry laughing emojis. Well, I followed you back, so you can tell me privately if you feel too shy in here. Yeah, I don't know. I love the worm so much, he's so cute. Wait, hold on. What is the narrative? There's no narrative here. Like, why is she just showing tweets? You're pretty cute yourself, but how come you're tweeting at this time in the morning? Shouldn't you be in... Okay, that's weird. Anglo moments. Anglos love cute schoolgirls, right? I mean, that's a British thing, isn't it? Yes, the monochrome aesthetic is cool, but when black equals bad and white equals most desirable, what does that tell us? Ooh. On the problematic palettes. Okay, so it's like a lot of social justice warriors on Twitter. Sickens to me, my fucking core, that bitch twisted my ideas into this racist. Innocent jokes about lumberjacks mocking gender fluidity. Okay, so like, the villain in this story, as far as I can tell, is like social justice warriors on Twitter. Yeah, J.K. Rowling is all about how bullying is bad. So she perceives, like, I don't know, Twitter SJWs as like bullies, which, I mean, they are like insufferable and very annoying, but like she's totally playing the victim card here. Yeah, so apparently this is all about this is all about, like, this book is about like a transphobic someone who's like vaguely racist and transphobic, kind of like J.K. Rowling. Okay, J.K. Rowling released a new book today about a YouTube animator that gets stabbed to death for making racist and transphobic animations. And it is 600 pages longer than Dune. It's twice as long as Dune. It's 1,200 pages. Yeah, so I don't know what to make of this. Joanne, nobody has gotten murdered for being transphobic online. Trans people have gotten murdered, though, lots of them. One literally just got doxxed and swatted by online trolls. What a horrific timing of this release, yeah. At a time when, like, transphobia is, like, on the rise, she's, like, playing the victim about, like, oh, people are mean to me on Twitter about, like, not liking trans people, and then she writes this whole story about, like, someone getting murdered for being transphobic, and it's like, okay, you're literally making up stuff to be upset about. This is like a lot of like oppressors want to feel like they're oppressed, right? Because like being the oppressor isn't cool, but if like you're the oppressed, then you can garner sympathy points from bleeding heart types. But yeah, they're literally like making up stuff to get upset about, like this whole like grooming thing, saying that I don't know, kids are being groomed into being gay or trans or whatever. It's like, yeah, you're literally making stuff up to like get upset over. But in this case, J.K. Rowling writes a book over 1,000 pages long. Of course, like, the pages aren't like, the pages are like very empty, which is like very symbolic of something, right? But she writes this whole book about this fake story where a transphobic person gets murdered, and it's like, okay, you're inventing a scenario in which trans people are like face discrimination. You have to make up this story because like it doesn't exist in the real world. Yeah, this is all at a time when transphobia is on the rise. A GIDS service is getting bomb threats. A trans woman speaks about being raped in prison. Some of her online allies had referred to GIDs as grooming clinics. So GIDs is where trans people go to get like gender affirming, gender affirming surgery. They have shown to be completely indifferent at best to the rape of trans people in prisons. Promoted far-right websites that was responsible for swatting that trans woman. Have they promoted QE farms? Okay, that's bad. Yeah, so am I gonna get copyrighted again? Uh-oh. Oh well. Okay, yeah, they're like they're like making up mean tweets to like garner sympathy. I mean people are mean on Twitter, but like that's on you. Like, you know the meme like, oh, how is cyberbullying even real? Just like turn off the computer. Just like don't look at the screen. I mean, that's a joke, but it's like kind of true. It's like if you feel like you're oppressed because you're like reading all these mean tweets about you, stop reading the mean tweets. Just like literally turn off Twitter. Go on Reddit or something. Join a subreddit about like, I don't know, gardening or flowers or like cat videos. Right? But no, she has to be on Twitter and she has to like pick fights with like the stupidest, like most brain poison people, because like none of these people are good. These SJWs, these people that like these tweets are modeled after, they're not good people either. I mean, like these tweets are fake, but like they're uh they're modeled after like real life stuff. Yeah, people are mean on Twitter. They're bad people too. But like that doesn't make you any better because you're the target of like, even if it is harassment, if you're the target of harassments, that doesn't make you a good person. It means you can kind of play the victim, but like no. Oh yeah, so this cartoon is like, with all the problems in the world right now, you choose to like go after trans people. It's like, yeah, trans people existing is like the issue that bothers you the most. It's it's one of these cases where like these rich white people, and it can be men or a woman, um they don't really like face any real adversity in their lives, so like the worst experience that they have in their lives is like people being mean to them on Twitter or on the internet, right? And so like they get super mad at that because it's like the worst thing that's ever happened to them, even though it's literally nothing. Also, apparently, like J.K. Rowling is transphobic because of like some bad experiences she's had in the past. Like, I don't know if she's like been assaulted by a trans person or like a queer person, or if it was just like a man she was assaulted by, and then and that like led to a fear of trans people. Apparently, she has faced abuse from men in the past. She's said that, but like she somehow extends that to like hatred of trans people because she sees trans men as predators still. Oh my gosh, she wrote a whole other book about like how trans people are literally predators, as in trans people. There's a like the villain of the story is a trans person, right? Who isn't actually trans and uses their transness as an excuse to like dress up as a woman. and like prey on women and like infiltrate women's spaces. That's the big fear about trans people, is that they will dress up as the other gender to infiltrate women's spaces, or like the other gender spaces. It's usually like trans women who are feared because they're male, and males are seen as predators by a lot of people for not totally unfounded reasons. And then yeah, I mean, that's bad. And it seems like J.K. Rowling like has had bad experiences with men, which is understandable, I guess. Like men are trash. Yeah, most men are. I mean, there some I assume are good people, of course, but like it's understandable if you've had bad experiences with men and that leads you to like distrust men. But like extending that to like hatred of trans people or like fear of trans people is just so weird. It's like this second wave feminism, like fear of men, where it's like men are evil because they have a penis, and penises are weapons of sexual assault. It's like it's it's like a very biologically essentialist hatred of men, like hatred of males, because like they see they believe that like males are like biologically programmed to be more aggressive, and like wants to like take women and dominate them. And I don't know like if that happens that much. I'm sure there are cases of like trans women raping women, but like I don't know if that warrants like transphobia. Of course it doesn't. I'm sure it's happened, like a trans woman rapes a woman, a trans woman that still has a penis rapes a woman. But I mean that's bad. Rape is bad. You should be anti-rape, not like anti-trans. I mean, most rapists are men, of course. When I'm in a biggest loser in the world competition and my opponent is J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling's new book. Nice try defending your point. Too bad I've made this meme where you're the ugly face and I'm the handsome one. Good point. Uh, J.K. Rowling took 1,200 pages of fake tweets to say, um, to portray herself as the victim, or to portray herself as the reasonable party and her enemies as the evil, stupid party. Yeah, this is basically it. So it said this search query is invalid. Please try another one, and it's J.K. Rowling. I don't know if they like muted this because they don't want people seeing. They don't want people seeing about this. J.K. Rowling. Oh right. Uh, writer sometimes known as Robert Galbraith. So apparently Robert Galbraith is like a transphobic dog whistle. Galbraith was like someone who did like, was it a like a transphobic doctor who like did experiments on trans people or something? Anyway, yeah, so that's that. And speaking of transphobia, Matt Walsh is also trending